No Ashley Nicole Moss right now, and I may wait for the hump day. It's Wednesday, right, B?
It's Wednesday.
See, I may wait for that, let her do her thing, because, she's super excited every single week for hump day. It's like her favorite day of the week. And I'm also sitting with my guy, just talk to him a little bit. B Flow, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? The Killer Bees on today. We gonna hold it down. You know how we do.
There we go. Hey, B, first off, I want to say what's up to everybody. You guys been rocking with us for a minute now, 6-7 months developing this show. Love you guys so much. There's also some big news that we need to hit before we even get into the bulk of the show. For me, bro, the biggest news was Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels getting fired last night. That was a big deal. No one saw that happening right then in that moment, right? Could this have happened after the season and everybody like, okay, yeah, I get it. Absolutely. But in the middle of the season, both the general manager and Josh McDaniels, but we will discuss.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy for it to happen now.
Right.
So for me, I want to go to the NFC. I want to know if the Niners are better than the Cowboys and the Eagles. They got that 3-game skid. Michael been talking his talk. Like, will the 49ers get back on track, or did they lose their mojo and now we got a new big dog in the NFC? So I want to dissect that when we get into the show and break all of the layers down, and we want to see who the big dog in the NFC is.
Well, you brought up the 49ers, and we're not going to discuss this. We're not going to go in depth, but they traded for Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
Not Chase Claypool, but Chase Young. Oh, my God.
And even having Randy Gregory come, I think we're going to dive into it. Yeah, I want to go into it because they low-key, John Lynch is trying to get that little thing he did when he played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They had that front loaded, but we'll get into it.
Right. And then also, it's still football season, right? I don't care what anybody says. Ashley Nicole Moss will say something different. Basketball season, the NBA season, it doesn't start until March. And for me, sometimes it's April. That's when they really start playing. Now you got the mid-season tournament game, whatever the heck they're calling it. So maybe that will change how guys are playing. But so far, we're already seeing guys 3-4 games in already taking off nights. But we're going to talk a little basketball today, and I want to hit a little bit on the Lakers and the Clippers. So we're going to stay in L.A. Who do you trust more? And I'm going to ask y'all this. Get in there right now. Get in the chat. Who do you trust more, the Lakers or the Clippers? Big discussion coming up there. We saw James Harden walk into the locker room. You saw Russell Westbrook. You seen him?
Yeah.
That was cool. Russell Westbrook sitting on one side. He walks in, he looks at him, and Russell says, bruh, stay on your side, bruh. Stay on your side. Then they did this little secret handshake. It's dope. I think they're going to be in dope position come April.
I'm ready. With the Clippers, it's going to be box office popcorn ready just for the personalities they got over there. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right, so let's dive into the news of the day. We're going to discuss Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, now, a lot of you guys know who's been rocking with the show for months now, how I feel about Josh McDaniels. 2009, 2010, we fired legendary coach Mike Shanahan when I was playing for the Denver Broncos, and then we insert baby boy wonder Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, right? They did some legendary things over there. He had Tom Brady, he had Bill Belichick, so some say it was the system. But when you sit down with Josh McDaniels, you quickly realize that he knows football. And it's not just football on the offensive side. He knows it on all levels. And he also understands a process. He has a process in place. But what Josh McDaniels always falls short is making the right moves at the right time, meaning, what quarterback are you going to go with, okay? And he also has a challenge of talking to people, right? So, Josh McDaniels finds himself in another predicament because when he was with Denver, I think he was there almost 2 years, and he was 11-17 or something like that. And now, with the Raiders, another almost 2 years, and he's sitting here at 9-16. So, B, were you surprised when you woke up seeing that this owner, fired Josh McDaniels and the general manager?
100%. I don't think people know how fast 2 years is. Your first year, you get in there, everything new. You got to get everybody adjusted. You got to get your players in. And usually that take maybe 2 to 3 years, right? So for you to get fired, not after your entire season in year 2, you talking about we only midway through, and they're making a decision just yo, we can't go forward. That's a year and a half. That's like insane. That's
Bro,
insane.
It shows just how dysfunctional it's been there and how bad, right? And listen, I'm not going to kick a man while he's down. I've been public about how I feel about Josh McDaniels. I always say he's great when it comes to the X's and O's, but bringing it all together, he struggles. But to have 2 stints, you know, and you don't get to year 3, that's a big deal. They're sitting here at 3-5. They're coming off a bad loss from Monday Night Football against Detroit. You know, you go out there and you trade away Derek Carr. You know, and when it's all said and done, whether we like it or not, when we think about the Raiders, he'll probably be a top 25 name of like all-time Raiders.
Yeah.
You know, and he had some big years with the Raiders. So you trade Derek Carr. You say, this ain't working. This ain't it. I don't know what's happening there. Didn't know what happened in that relationship. But then you go out there and get Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo is interesting, right, because they were together in New England, and they had some success there, small sample size, 4 games. Then Bill Belichick wanted to go with him. He probably was a part of that process. Like, yeah, we can go with Jimmy G. Let's trade away Tom Brady. Remember that whole debacle, that whole situation?
Yeah.
So, boom, that didn't happen. Then what? They shipped him to San Fran. San Fran, I mean, they were winning playoff games where he completed 9, 10 games, but they were winning. So that's the thing with Jimmy G is like, yo, is he the guy or is it the system? But then when you look at it, it's like he wins.
Yeah.
So Josh McDaniels comes in and says, you know what, Derek Carr, this isn't working for me. The same thing he did in Denver, B. In Denver, we had Jay Cutler. He was the 10th, 11th overall pick in the first round, 2006. That was the round where, or the year where you had Vince Young, you had Matt Leinart, then you had Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler came out, led our team that year to the #1 offense through the regular season. #1 offense. And in our offseason, what? Jay Cutler had his house on the market because Josh McDaniels came in and tried to trade him, or tried to trade him for Matt Castle. Didn't get Matt Castle, so we ended up with Kyle Orton.
Yeah.
Remember that name? Kyle Orton. So it's the same situation. You get rid of Derek Carr, then you go get Jimmy G, and now you're sitting here at 3-5.
This is the thing. Like, is he to blame for this mess? 1,000%. And the reason I say he's to blame because he always implodes a roster. Like, y'all had a nice roster in Denver. Like, when I was looking at the news, we eating breakfast, you kicking the ball. I'm like, yes, get him out of this division. Good job. Josh, do something else. Like, everybody leaving. Like, Jay leaving, Eddie Royal leaving. And it's just like, how do you not keep your core players intact, right? When you come and you're a new coach, first thing you do, like when Andy Reid came to Kansas City, he hit me up. He could have been lying. He was like, Flo, you the first person I called. Wow. Like, I look at you as an important piece on this roster. You the man I wanted to call, get on board, let you know if you need anything. Like, he established that relationship from jump. And Andy Reid was everything that he said he was going to be on that phone when he came in.
You know my first call with Josh McDaniels
when
he came in?
When?
6 days on the job. I'm down in Tampa for the Super Bowl, okay? So I'm down in Tampa. I get a call. Right now I'm doing a bunch of, Super Bowl, you get the radio roll, you do a bunch of media hits. Mm-hmm. So they're asking me about the transition. They're asking about the goals. I said the goal for everybody is Super Bowl. So boom, 6 days on the job, Josh McDaniels called me. Total opposite of your experience with Andy Reid. Hey, Brandon. Hey, this is Coach Josh McDaniels. Oh, what's up, Coach? How you doing? Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Just got to Denver. But hey, just really quickly, we don't talk about Super Bowl here. Like I've been to a few, and I know how hard it is. And so we have to earn that, and we're not going to talk about it. And I'm like, oh, all right, yeah. All right, I'll see you when I get to Denver. Boom. Think about what you just said about Andy Reid and your experience, bro, and then my experience.
And that's why people love to play. This is what people don't realize about being a head coach in the NFL. It's not about X and O's. It's about, can you get all these personalities to play together? Can you get them believe in your vision and win in the ring and do everything that they can to try to have the same vision and then just go for it and just run through a brick wall for it? For me, Josh McDaniels doesn't do that. He kind of – I haven't been in the locker room, so I only can speak from the outside in. B, you played with him. But, like, when you don't like showing up for work, you're not going to play your best on the field, right? You're not going to put in that extra film time. You're not going to get that extra chemistry with your guys, like, in the locker room. Like, you're not going to stay and watch extra film time with Jay Cutler, if you don't even like being there because
That's right.
Josh got you stressed out from practice. Like, this is what I see from him. It's a track record. Like, I've never seen Derek Carr upset with his coaches in Oakland or now Las Vegas when he was there. When Josh was there, you just see him visually frustrated. And he came in his interview and was like, yo, I guess everybody on board here. Like, I guess everybody want to win. He started saying stuff in the media like that.
Right.
And then now, I just think the ownership did a great job by letting him go mid-season to not lose Devontae, I don't know on my mind. Devontae Adams, because they see him visually upset. They know they pay him a lot of money to come over there. He came over there to play with Derek Carr, and then you let Derek Carr go.
That's right.
They can't let him go into this offseason feeling like, yo, you got to let me go. Because he's the kind of guy that'll pull a hard and be like, yo, I'm not coming back unless we do something.
Yeah, I believe you there. I agree with you there. But, like, why didn't they just ship him out? If they knew that this was a possibility to fire Josh McDaniels, like, this is a rebuild now. Like, why wouldn't you just?
Why wouldn't you ship who out?
Devontae.
You can't. That, like, he's the cornerstone for your offense.
But what are we gonna get done by keeping him? Right? Like, I don't know.
If you bring a quarterback in that can play, well, I mean, Jimmy G's cool, but he missed some easy throws, right, against Detroit. Like, Vontae should have had 2 touchdowns easily. I don't know what Jimmy G was doing. He ain't complete a pass in the first half. Like, he literally didn't. Like, I'm speaking literally, he didn't complete a pass. Like, you know how frustrating that is for Devontae, who just said, get me the rock.
Yeah,
like, let me cook.
It. He came to the house.
Come on. Like, you can't do that. So now you thinking, I got to go get me a quarterback. Maybe Josh wasn't even on board thinking like, hey, yo, this offseason we going to get a quarterback.
Right.
So they seen the writing on the wall. Like, yo, this marriage ain't going to work. Devontae, we need you here, like, to build. Because if you let him go now, where do you start?
That's right.
So they had to make that. They had to make that.
Well, listen, what they're saying is, obviously Josh McDaniels out, Dave Z, the general manager, out. So now, the changes that they're going to make, potentially sitting Jimmy Garoppolo, so benching him and playing a rookie quarterback. So now Devontae probably going to be even more pissed off. And then they also have one of our guys, Antonio Pierce, who's a linebackers coach, is going to be the interim head coach, which is interesting. And Devontae, he threw it.
I feel so bad.
He I don't care about y'all talk about Antonio Pierce. I don't care about this rookie quarterback. I don't care about Jimmy G. He's like, get me out of here.
And this week 8.
Look, bro.
This ain't week 14 where you be like, dog, one more month. Just give me one more month and I can get to the offseason so I can woo-saw.
You never look like this. You never look like this on the sideline.
Nah, that's
I
bad.
have so many times. You so cool, calm,
because we're in our own world at corner too. Like, our action is like, what we do at cornerback has nothing to do with the rest of the team. Unless we ain't getting a pass rush and they completing passes and we piss. Like, we got a whole nother world. We don't got to depend on nobody else for real. So we can just do our thing and stay in our own world. But yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine looking like how he looked right now. I feel bro, you go from Aaron Rodgers, from getting a rock, and you being like the top. Everybody had him in their top 3.
No, everybody had him 1.
That's what I'm saying. I try to be humble. You didn't have him in the top 1. Like, you're 1, you had him in the top 3, right?
He for what, 5 years or so was number. Yeah, you're doing a good job with the graphics today. It's like pain. If Devontae was watching this.
They look like the Incredibles. If you look at this picture with him and Rodgers, they look like the Incredibles.
Right.
And then when you look at him on a bench in Oakland, it's just like he lost all his superpowers. Nobody talking about him no more. It's sad, man.
Sorry.
It's sad. They're going to have to do a good job bringing in a new coach, a new quarterback, and they're gonna have to show him so much love to not lose him. Where it's like, hey, who you think we should bring in?
Right.
Like, they got to give him some say so.
Yeah, listen, I'm not sure how they're gonna bring this together, but it's gonna be another couple of years.
You think so?
Turmoil.
They're not that far off.
What do you mean they're not that far off? What are you talking about?
With Jacobs running the rock, if they bring in the right coach,
Jacob has 2 more years left in him.
That's all you need. That's all you need for right now. So if you got him at receiver, you got Josh Jacobs at running back. I think the next head coach they should bring in, and people are not gonna like this, but Eric Bieniemy. He know this division. We don't really know what Sam Howell is in Washington. Bieniemy got him looking decent with no O line. I mean, he knows his division inside out. He knows how to attack every single defense in his division. This is who he's familiar with. He knows the Chief offense. So you'll have a shot at winning the division with Eric Bieniemy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to know how to schematically get his guys the ball. Because that's what he did. Like, him and Andy Reid called the plays left and right. So he knows how to draw up a scheme to get his players to rock like Shanahan do, like Andy Reid do, how McVay do. So that's the kind of system they need. Like, just someone who can just draw it up and get these guys open rather than the quarterback trying to fit in a perfect throw.
So that's one name that could potentially fill this space if Antonio Pierce, former linebacker, now linebacker coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, if he doesn't do a hell of a job and they keep him there. But Eric Bieniemy's a name there. Another name for open slot now at the general manager spot is Dwayne Joseph. Dwayne Joseph, minority candidate, black guy from South Florida. He's been with the Chicago Bears, the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's already, been on tour meeting with owners. I'm talking about over the last couple years. Mm-hmm. And so I can see him filling that void too at general manager. I always thought highly of him. I always thought he was one of the best out there. So hopefully he gets his shot and his due as well.
Who you got as the head coach though?
Listen, I haven't even put much thought there, but you saying Eric Bieniemy and his familiarity with the division, and then also just like, what he's done so far, like the Commanders, they're not great. They're not good, but their offense isn't bad.
They be cooking.
Right? They do some.
With Sam Howell, I'm not saying that Sam Howell's not a guy, but
that's right. And he's a name that everybody's been talking about for it feel like the last 4 or 5 years. So I can see him, fitting in this space right now. Who else is out there having a hell of a year? Man, I'm gonna need more time on that one, B. I'm gonna need more time on that one. Anyways. Yesterday, there was a few trades that came across the ticker. Anyone stood out to you?
Man, for me, I got to go Chase Young, right? Just because him going to the 49ers, John Lynch, the general manager, he believes in having a front seven, right? They just got Randy Gregory over there. And we just talked about yesterday how interchangeable defensive linemen are. And if you look at the 49ers, when they went to the Super Bowl and lost to Kansas City down here in Miami, like their front seven couldn't be blocked. Like they would just, every play, just making Mahomes run for his life. And that's how they got to the Super Bowl. It was their front four being able to get pressure and not being able, they don't have to blitz. They can get pressure with their front four. And I think John Lynch is saying like, nah, that's the blueprint. Let's get back to it. Our defense haven't been playing well. Secondary haven't been playing well. But let's go get pressure on the quarterback. Chase Young's still a beast. He got like 4 sacks in the last 5 games he played. So
yeah, Chase Young obviously coming off of the Commanders chose not to tag him, right? So this is last year on his deal. So he's basically in limbo. They're not going to pay him. Right, so this was a great move for the Commanders to go get something from him, all right, and for him to go there, he recovered from his knee injury. He's been recovering for a year and a half, showed himself healthy, so it's a great move for the 49ers and a good move for the Commanders, but it could turn out potentially be a bad move for the Commanders because you went out and got this guy in the first round, and so you were high on him, and he came in and contributed at a high level before his knee injury. Right? Yeah. So then he gets hurt, and now you have the last 2 years with him, and you're now, like, wavering on him, and you don't tag him. But what if he gets back on track?
But this is the thing with the Commanders, right? You trade Young, you trade Montez Sweat. Like, as a player, if you were the Commanders, you trading 2 of our big dogs up front. Like, what are they thinking? Right. Like, are they? Do you think they're in a rebuilding stage? Like, what do you feel like the Commanders are thinking over there as far as trading 2 big dogs on their D-line when they should be trying to keep it? Well, they wasn't going to pay Chase Young, but
I think ownership is thinking about, like, they're not in it to win it right now. I feel like when you look at the Denver Broncos, that's a different situation because when you go out there and you make a move like that at the quarterback, when you inherit a quarterback's like that, and then you go get Peyton Manning, Coach Sean Payton as your head coach, but then you have a top 5 defense. Like, you're expecting to win right now. Now in this situation, they're coming in, they're thinking about, what is this going to look like for the next 5-10 years, right? They're thinking about even moving the stadium to D.C., taking it from Virginia to D.C. And then so, I don't think they're trying to win right now. They're trying to compete. They're trying to, create some type of engagement and some type of excitement for the fans. But yeah, this is they're selling, bro. They're not concerned.
And you look at it like, instead of losing them and not paying them, get a little something for them. Almost how we was talking about Judy a couple of weeks ago. If you're not gonna pay them, get something for them,
right.
And then just try to build off that. I get it. You have to almost.
Yep.
At the end of the day. But, man, yeah, 49ers, adding him to their defensive line, like that's a trade that's going to raise some eyebrows, I'm telling you. In about 2 weeks, when he feeling it, he played with Bosa in college. Like,
right.
They got a little chemistry there. Darryl Tapp, I played with him in college, who was a defensive line coach. Like, he's a dog. Like, he's bringing in dogs. Like, this 49ers team can get it back on track just up front, right? Just getting so much pressure and making it easier for the secondary, creating turnovers to get it back to their offense. So
that's
we'll
right.
see.
So notable moves yesterday, just to finish up this topic here, the Bills trade for Packers cornerback Rasul Douglas, 49ers trade for Commanders defense end, who we were just talking about, Chase Young. Joshua Dobbs goes to the Vikings by way of the Cardinals. Interesting move there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on both sides now. The Vikings, you got Kirk Cousins that's dealing with the Achilles injury, and then you have Kyler Murray's ready to come back, but may not be your guy. And then the Bears trade for Commanders, Montez Sweat. And the one move that, I was surprised that didn't happen was Jerry Jeudy, right? Because it's like, are you going to go out there and pay him?
They won't, but I think they thinking what you're thinking, that they might can make a run and probably get a wild card berth. And they feel like we just starting to gel, so let's not mess it up right now. Let's not worry about, because all they other got for Jeudy maybe was a 4th.
Right.
So they like, if we can get in this wild card.
It's more than nothing.
Yeah, but if you got a chance to sneak in the wild card, if you got a chance, that's a solid season. For Denver, after last year, like it gives you something to come back to the next year.
You were at second round, right?
Yeah.
So you have no respect for 4th rounders. So you
No,
said
I
he
do.
may get a 4th rounder. So I'm a 4th round guy. So you're saying, pass up on the 4th round just to get to the wild card.
All right, guys. All right. Let's play nice. Let's play nice.
We're going to introduce you. Welcome.
Nice.
Here go Ashley Nicole Moss. Welcome to the set.
Hi, guys. Listen, we're going to go ahead and play nice here. We got 2nd rounders versus 4th rounders. I'm not trying to have a brawl on this Wednesday. Let's all play nice. We're all in the NFL. We all have had amazing careers, myself included. I can't pick a side,
No, but you don't get 4th rounders like B every day. Like my boy B Carr was a 5th rounder, started from day one. But we don't get y'all. Y'all don't grow on trees.
Can't relate to your struggle. Why? Because I was a 1st round pick. I can't relate. Listen, hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103 or you're watching on YouTube, happy hump day. You guys know I couldn't come here without saying that. But right now we're going to dive into one of our favorite segments, and it is time for Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar, NFL Rookie of the Week. All right. Listen, we had a bunch of really dope nominees for week 8. Let's go ahead and throw them on the screen right here. We're going to go through them real quick, and then we're going to dive into things with our special guests. All right, from Tennessee, we got Will Levis. Let me go ahead and run through this. 19 of 29 attempts for 238 yards, 4 touchdown passes in the Titans win. We also had Carolina's QB Bryce Young. The Carolina Panthers got their first win of the season, so congratulations to Bryce Young and the Panthers. 22 of 31 passes for 235 yards. Out of Minnesota, we had wide receiver Jordan Addison caught 7 passes for 82 yards and a touchdown in the Vikings win. Down in the ATL, we had Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson,
Bijan.
not BJ.
My brother's name is Bijan.
Bijan.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson. He rushed for 62 yards and 1 touchdown in Week 8. We had out in Buffalo, Buffalo tight end Dalton Kincaid caught 5 passes for 65 yards and a score in the Bills' win. And last but not least, this guy put on a show Monday Night Football. Jahmyr Gibbs had a breakout performance with 189 total yards and a touchdown in the Lions' Monday Night Football win. But as I mentioned, we have a special guest in the building. Joining us now is former Titans running back and one of the fastest men ever. Yes, you heard that correctly. One of the fastest men ever. Chris Johnson's in the building joining us here on Paper Route. What up, Chris?
What's up, man? What's happening?
2K, what up?
Yeah. Hey, I was a first-round pick.
Okay.
Hey,
Same, Chris, same. You and I are in the same boat.
Hold
Same
on,
thing.
hold on. I know he was a first-round pick. Let me tell you why I know. Because every time, like, we all came up in Orlando. They from Orlando. They adopted me in Orlando, right? So they from the west side. I'm from the east side.
Do you claim Orlando more than Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh more than Orlando?
Both equal.
Oh.
So listen. So cool story. When we went up and played East Carolina, Mike Sims Walker, who he grew up with, took me to his dormitory. So we chilling the night before the game with 2K. I didn't even know who Chris Johnson was for real. But anyways, we all got cool. They were already cool. And then when he went first round, reason why I know this, Ashley, because when we was at Roxy and that tab came, CJ, get that tab, boy.
I don't know what Roxy is. Is Roxy a strip club? Or
No, Roxy is just a club. But anywhere we went didn't matter. We knew we was good because we had 2K there.
Man,
Thank you.
I love that. I love stuff. Chris, what was a young Brandon Marshall like?
Man, that was my boy, man. You know, like he say, we met at the time when they came out to Greenville. And ever since then, you know, just watch him, like, how big of a guy he was and the way he was able to run routes and catch the ball and do all those type of things. Like, it was crazy. And then, you know, they got drafted before me. So, you know, I always looked up to those guys. So anytime they was doing something and I was home for the off season, I used to go around those guys and be around those guys, man. And, you know, he just kind of like took me under his wings and just, you know, showed me the ropes and all those things, man. That's like my brother, man.
That's
Oh,
right.
I
That's
love
right.
that.
That's
So
right.
let's dive into football, guys. First and foremost, I mean, Will Levis, we've had multiple conversations about him on this show, one being his love for mayonnaise in his coffee, which Brandon Marshall actually experienced for himself. He said it was absolutely terrible, has no idea how Will does it. But, I mean, what he did last weekend for the Titans was a very big deal. He's one of our rookies of the week for Week 8. I mean, how good is Will Levis, and is he the real deal?
I think he's the real deal. Not just me, but the whole Tennessee, the whole Nashville, city of Nashville, whoever Tennessee fans. I think we've been dying for this. We've been asking for this. Like, I just feel like it's it for Tannehill. You know, he did what he can do for us in the time that he was the starter. But we've been knowing we got this horse in the backfield in Derrick Henry, and everybody want to put 8-9 in the box to stop him. We need a guy that can throw it all over the field. And the first time you plug him in, he throw for 4 touchdowns. We get D-Hop over there, and the games before then, they've been thinking that, people been saying, D-Hop washed up, this and that. He's not helping us out. As soon as you put Will in there, and he throw it all over the field, D-Hop got 3 touchdowns. Will throw for 4 touchdowns. And I think that's just something that Tennessee offense been needing for so long.
Okay, bro. You know you my brother now. You know we hold each other accountable all the time, bro.
Right.
Like how we know how we know we're not looking at a Brock Purdy situation, right? Where he get off to a fast start, but then things get rocky a little later, and now people are questioning, is Brock Purdy the guy? I'm not questioning Brock Purdy. Just want to be clear there.
Okay.
But there's a lot of people right now saying Brock Purdy might not be the guy. You're coming out here after one game and you're saying Will Levis is the guy?
Yeah, I'm saying he's the guy because, look, Will Levis had 4 touchdowns in one game. Tannehill haven't had that all season. So you can't get no worse than it. Like you can't get you look at last year when Tannehill get hurt, and we got Malik Willis. They don't even go to him. They go and get Josh Dobbs off of the streets. So we know we don't trust in the second round pick from the year before. So we come back and give up another second round. We draft a quarterback in the second round again. And he come in and do this in week 1. Like, I feel like you can't get no worse than that. I'm not going to sit out here and say he's the savior. He's the new face of the franchise, but you can't get no worse than that. Of course, he got to go out and continue to have this success if we want to say he's our new quarterback. But we gave a second-round pick for him. You can't get no worse than that.
So, CJ, you mentioned Henry in the backfield. They got to load the box. You mentioned D-Hop, how he can go over top. That's another weapon. Y'all got Trey Burt, who be doing his thing. Like, why do you think the Titans have underperformed this season?
I just talked about it.
So it's the quarterback. It's all on Tannehill.
Everything starts with the quarterback. We gave Tannehill $100 million. He on the last year of his contract. He made his whole 100. It's time to move on. Everybody knows your team is going to be as good as your quarterback. Once you handle that situation, then I feel like everything is good. I think that's the only thing that's been holding us back. We got a good defense. We playing good defense. We doing everything we need to do. We just needed a quarterback to push us over the top.
So Ashley talked about the mayonnaise thing, bro. Did you see the viral video of your quarterback Will Levis on draft? I think it was draft night. He put mayonnaise in his coffee. You seen that?
No, I didn't see that.
You gotta see. I'm gonna send it to you. We can't play it right now, but I'm gonna send it to you, bro. Like that's where I'm like.
That's his thing. He says it makes his coffee creamy.
Oh my goodness, Ashley, tell him about it.
So basically, I mean, he does it constantly. So you know how some people use like International Delight or creamer like in their coffee to sweeten it or like whatever. He uses mayonnaise. So he squeezes mayonnaise into his coffee about maybe this much, and he spins it in there and he drinks it and he thoroughly enjoys it. Brandon had it.
No, now watch this. Now watch this. Watch this.
Yes, Brandon, you tasted it, right?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't good. Now watch this. 2K owns a coffee shop. He's in the coffee. Ask him if that's on his menu.
Is it on the menu?
That's not on my menu, but that's definitely something. I got to go have a taste test. I might need to add that to the menu.
You're wasting your time if you do a taste test. I'm telling you right now, don't waste your time. But
well, speaking of time, when I introduced you, I said one of the fastest men in the NFL ever, of all time. And another fast man in the NFL, Tyreek Hill, is having one hell of a season, a historic season, if we want to go ahead and name it that, which I think is fair to assume, or label it as. Now, as a Hall of Fame receiver yourself, B. Marsh will be there one day, but as a Hall of Fame receiver yourself, how...
Running back.
I'm sorry, running back.
I'm the receiver.
You're the receiver, running back.
No, he didn't have the hands. He didn't have the hands to play receiver. That's why we put him out running back.
Listen, how impressive is it what Tyreek Hill is doing? I mean, this is one of the greatest wide receivers in the league right now. I mean, we're watching history happen in real time.
Oh, man, it's crazy to see the things that he's doing, especially at his size. He wasn't blessed like the Brandon Marshall, the 6'4", 220. You know what I'm saying? He's a small guy. And for him to go in there and do the things that he's doing is amazing. And a lot of times they say us fast guys can't catch. We don't have good hands. But for him to come in and do the things he's doing and already have 1,000 yards at halfway point of the season, it's crazy to see that he would be the guy that will probably go for 2,000 receiving yards if he keep this pace up.
Well, you went for 2,000 yards, bro. Take us into that year, your mindset, when you did it, right? And and then take us through what Tyreek Hill might be going through, what he might be thinking about, or even what he's feeling in his body.
Right. I think the number one thing for that is being available. So if he can stay healthy and play all the games, it's possible. And just like when you get to that point, like everybody is focusing on you. So you got to make sure you continue to study, stay in the film room to see what type of things that these defenses are going to try to do to stop you. So you got to stay in the film room and also just take care of your body. A thing that I used to do, the late great Heimerdinger, Mike Heimerdinger, my offensive coordinator. So a thing that I used to do after practice, because you know in the league, like they don't condition us after practice. So he always made sure, even all the way up until like week 15, 16, after practice, two days out of the week, I made sure I did like 4 half gassers for each day. So I got 8 half gassers in that week after every practice or whatever. So I made sure I do that to make sure I stay in shape, but also take care of my body and just stay focused, man. And you know, God is number one.
I like having greats in their position on the show, right? Because you hear little insights like that,
Right.
what made them great. And being that you was a great at your position at running back, right? Your view on a position might be a little different than everybody else's view on a position. Who are your top 3 running backs in the league right now?
Right now.
Right now.
You know, I'm a little biased. You know, I love Derrick Henry.
I
Um,
mean, fair.
I love Derrick Henry. It's just like if you keep handing him the ball, you look up, he got 150 yards. No matter what type of day it is, no matter if they're losing, winning, what, you got to go Derrick Henry. I like Saquon.
Okay.
Saquon is just that back that can do it all. Catch out of the backfield, your screens. He ran in between the tackles, outside of the tackles. And another guy that I like right now. Who is my third guy? He's hurt right now, but man, and this is a guy that I thought was going to have a chance be the next running back to go for 2,000 yards. Nick Chubb. He's hurt right now, but I
They be
like Nick
sleeping on
Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
You
I
mentioned
love him.
you mentioned Saquon Barkley, and you know he was dealing with a lot of back and forth between himself, his side, and the Giants organization. And we've had the conversation about running backs on this show. We've talked to a lot of vets about the conversation surrounding running backs, and it seems as though more and more organizations within the NFL are unwilling to pay running backs the big paychecks like we once saw years ago with Ezekiel Elliott and some other names. So where do you see the future of this position? Do you ever seeing it going back full circle and those guys getting those big paychecks again? Or do you think the league has just become such a pass first league that position is almost just on the back mind of so many different organizations across the NFL?
Well, when I look at it, Jonathan Taylor just got paid, but things that I would tell younger kids, like as far as high school kids, college kids that's playing running back, if you're going to play running back, you're going to have to adapt to the game. So that means, yes, you play running back, but you still have to put into your toolbox that you can go out wide and run routes like a receiver. So I feel like you look at Christian McCaffrey, and I'm sorry I left him off my list.
Yep.
He's probably the best running back right now just because of things that he's doing. But if you're able to run in between the tackles, outside the tackles, and go out wide like a receiver and run those routes, they have no choice but to pay you because the number one thing of the game now is creating mismatches. So if I can take my running back and put him outside and line him up against the linebackers, we know linebackers, they can't guard like your B Flowers and stuff like that. You know you can't guard. So that's create mismatches. And as long as you can do that at the running back position, then I feel like you will be all right. But if you come in and you just a running back that can just run in between the tackles, your hard-nosed running back just expecting to get the ball 25, 30 times a game, that's not going to happen. So if you don't adapt to the game, then you're going to be left behind. But if you model your game around the Christian McCaffreys and stuff like that, I feel like you'll be all right.
So I want to go back to Derrick Henry. Do you think it was smart for Derrick Henry and the Titans to stay together? The trade deadline was yesterday, right? So some people thought that he could potentially be on the go.
I think it was smart for him because of, I would say, the type of offense he's in. We know that Tennessee is gonna play defense, and they're gonna run the ball. Yeah, we got a new Will in there. We know he's gonna throw the ball, but they don't trust him all the way, so they know his best friend is gonna be the running game. For Derrick Henry to go anywhere else, I just don't see no other team in the NFL that just giving their back 25, 30 touches a game. You look at Dalvin Cook that went over to the Jets. He's probably averaging 5, 6 carries, 7 carries a game.
Right.
And we know he's a volume type running back where he needs his touches. But when you go to an offense that's gonna, they got A-Rod, so they're gonna throw the ball all over the field. So when you go to these offenses that's gonna throw the ball and you're not able to touch the ball like that, then of course people on the outside are gonna be like, oh yeah, you fell off. You're not the type of back that you was. So when you talk about Derrick Henry, I just don't see another team out there that's their offense was going to model his game.
Well, listen, Chris, we appreciate you so much for stopping by. We also want to remind everybody to vote for their favorite rookie this week at NFL.com/voting/rookies. Chris, it has been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing the mayonnaise on your coffee menu soon.
I'm sending it to you right now, bro.
Coffee.
Mix it on up in there. Brandon's going to send you that video, so maybe you can really decide if you want to add it to your menu. I have a feeling you're not going to want to, but we'll let you decide.
If he adds it to the menu, I'm never going.
You already drank it once. Guys, this has been Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week. All right, so we're going to go back and talk some more. Chase Young traded to the 49ers. So in case you missed that breaking news, the NFL trade deadline was yesterday, 4 o'clock, and the Niners are sending a third-round pick to the Commanders for defensive end Chase Young. So that defensive unit of the San Francisco 49ers just gets another weapon. Young had 5 sacks in 7 games this season, but was part of a defense that was actually one of the worst in the NFL. Obviously, I'm speaking about the Commanders. But now he joins, like I said, one of the best defenses in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers. So what does this move mean, B-Flow, for the 49ers race in the NFC against Dallas, against Philly, and even Detroit? We got to put them in there.
It means a lot because John Lynch feels as the general manager, we beefing up our defense again. Mm-hmm. Their first Super Bowl debut a couple years ago when they played Kansas City, nobody couldn't stop talking about how good their front seven is, how much pressure they kept getting on opposing quarterbacks with just 4 guys. They don't have to send a blitz. They was in every passing lane. You let Warner just drop in coverage. You can blitz him if you want. Let him run sideline to sideline. Like, you don't have to keep blitzing and creating holes in your defense schematically to get pressure on a quarterback. They got Randy Gregory. They got Chase Young now. So now that defensive line will be deep. They're going to get a lot of pressure. That's going to help the secondary, who's been struggling these last couple of weeks on the back end. So they just shoring up this defense as much as they can before they get into the latter part of the season. I mentioned earlier that he played with Joey Bosa in college, so they're going to have that pedigree. They got a young coach in Darryl Tapp who's coaching those guys over there. Like, this is a good move for him, and they respect him. They gave up a 3rd round for him. So that let him know, like, yo, we want you to come in and not just be in rotation.
You respect anything past the 2nd round now. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Real quick, the chat once again is pointing out that Brandon and I are matching again.
Listen,
this was not on purpose.
No.
I swear to God, we did not discuss this. So.
This is the first thing I seen when Ashley walked in. I'm like, yo, why y'all just won't put me in the memo?
I swear to God, B-Flow, this is not a conspiracy to keep you out. Crazy. We did not do this on purpose. I swear. I didn't even notice until I'm looking at the screen, looking at the chat, and everyone's like, who wore it better, Ashley or Brandon? And I realized once again, you're the odd man out.
Right. It's cool. I accept it. I don't even care no more. I'm glad y'all called it in the chat.
That's crazy.
That's the first thing I seen when she
walked
in.
I just really feel like Brandon and I just have worked together too long, and maybe we're just like unconsciously like picking the same colors because we do not plan this. It's not something
For
that
real.
we have a conversation about the day before. The only time he ever did tell me what he was going to wear was the green, and he told both of us, and nobody
That's
wore
right.
green.
And no, yeah, right. I'm like, we talked about this, and then when we talk about it, then y'all
This
don't
is
wear
the
it.
last thing I'm gonna say on it, right? B told me Ashley always wear black. Just wear black and you'll be safe. She wore black one time since, and I wore black every single
Wait,
day.
no, that's not true.
And
I've worn black
haven't
like several
matched
times.
Nobody, so I don't even know what to do.
I've worn black several times. That usually is my go-to color, but I don't know what happened here.
I know.
Just,
I know.
So,
Well, let me
yeah.
ask you this question: did you wear that last night?
no.
I wore this last night.
That looks really clean for last night.
Well, yeah, I only went to dinner. I'm glad I ain't.
But you didn't get
poured
nothing
any
on
wine
it?
me. No, I didn't get anything on it. I was at
Impressive.
Prime 112. Had some crab legs and 2 glasses of wine. It was really nice. Nobody was there because it was Halloween. Everybody was on Lincoln Road, so I was on Ocean. It was great.
All right.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I wore this last night, but we're talking about Chase Young. Chase Young traded. We talked about this yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago, Monday, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones' comments on, him feeling comfortable where he's at. He's not going to make any calls, but he will take some calls, right? Mm-hmm. And we jumped into this discussion of teams like being close and just going out there and making a move. The 49ers are there. Now, they're on this 3-game skid. A lot of people are concerned about the 49ers, how they might be concerned. But we know the 49ers are going to get back on track. Hopefully we know. This is a really good football team, really good coaches. But there's pressure within that building. They walked into this year knowing that they're contenders. They walked into this year with one goal in mind, not just to make it to a playoff game, not just to, win some games. Their goal was win the Super Bowl, not go to the Super Bowl. For some teams, that's going to be that'd be amazing, but they've already been there. Meaning, coach, right? Coach, what's his name? Coach Shanahan. You already been there. So for him, he has to go make this move because, hell, he's on the clock. And I'm not saying he's in a hot seat, but like, bro, when you're here for 3, 4, 5 years and you did it in other situations as an offensive coordinator, it's like, when are you going to get over the hump? I love Coach Shanahan. I always say he's the reason why I got drafted. Called his dad and said, if you don't draft him, I'm not showing up to any family events. He said, you need to take him. So I love him. But this move makes sense because him and John Lynch, who's the general manager, who I played with as well in Denver, like, they're on the clock. Y'all got to make this happen. And this 3-game skid is not okay.
Well, I mean, B-Flow, you were pro Brock Purdy. You had him in your top 10. You pulled him out. I mean, Brandon talks about being a contender. Do you trust Brock Purdy enough at this point, what you've seen in these last 3 games this season overall, to even get the 49ers back to that point?
I trust him. He just got to stop turning the ball over. Like, he hasn't been playing terrible where he missing key throws like Jimmy G was last game when Adams was running free and he just couldn't deliver. It's just Brock Purdy, he had so much success his rookie year, his first year, because he didn't turn the ball over. He made the throws they wanted him to make, the safe throws. Defense played well. They played together as a team. Now, when you turn the ball over, you putting your defense on the field too much. Now they don't look stout. It's just, it all comes back to taking care of the ball. Like, right? Every Monday we go in a meeting. First thing they say, take care of the ball. They put the statistics up. If you turn the ball over this many times, this is what's going to happen. This is our percentages of winning the game and losing the game. So once he does that, I feel like the 49ers will get back on track. I don't think last year was a fluke. I don't think he took all these steps back. I just think he just, like I said, interceptions are contagious, just like winning and losing. So
and let's not, you said that yesterday, and you are so right. Down, I forgot about that. I was like, you are right. When you're losing, it's like you just keep going down that way. It's like, hard to break that. It's hard. And then when you go in the other way, you got that mojo cooking. But let's not forget, he also started off the year hot too. It's just the last 3 games. And if you look at the last 3 games, you can point out, like, okay, there was other people to contribute to that. I think they'll be fine. And I actually think this 3-game skit will be good for him. Look at him. Look at this. This is what I saw the first time he took over when Jimmy G went down. Look at this dude. Look at the moxie.
The moxie.
Look at it. Look at the confidence. Look at the swagger. Like, come on, man. Like guys like this that have that type of mindset, that type of psyche. I mean, he was drafted not to even be in this position. He's a fighter. He has that. It's a different type of makeup that this kid has. So when you're in these situations like this, it can break some, but then it can build others. And I really believe it's going to build him because the next time he's in these situations, like, damn, okay, what I need to do? We're down by a score or two. You know, I just threw 2 picks in that 3-game skid. Let me protect the ball. What did I learn from that? So there's a lot of key learnings for him over these last 3 weeks. Good players, really good players, learn from it and grow. And I think he will do that.
And he get Debo back maybe this week, maybe next. So that's going to help, right? Because that's been his outlet. That's been his security blanket. So he going to be all right.
Well, listen, we are going to try to figure out our coordination on this show during this commercial break. So make sure you go ahead and don't move because we will be right back. We're going to figure out what's going on here. We got to work on our communication skills. While we do that, we're going to take a quick break.
We definitely got our white tees. Like, what is happening?
After I got arrested December 6, 2021, and I'm sitting in jail the next day, and I'm just like, yo, like, why am I here? You know, like, why am I, like, I'm so over this cycle of shit. I'm tired. You know what I mean? I'm so tired, and like, God, if like you want me, like you just move me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing. Like, I'm done with ball. Like, ain't no more trying out. Ain't no more coming back. Like, I'm done. Like, all of me is done. And that reality put me into a position where I gotta like either go this way real quick or this way. And that's where my life changed. That's when I made a choice. I'm done with survival mode. I got to live because I got to be happy. It's just me. There ain't nobody else no more. I can't blame nobody else, and it's nobody else's fault. Like, it being their fault does not make my life productive.
What comes up for me hearing you say that is that we've heard this before. It's like we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. You right?
Yeah, and it's not letting my trauma, my bad experiences be the narrative that controls my life. Like, I can't continue to be this way and that way and hold resentments and blame this and see if I can. No, I gotta live right. I gotta save me. I gotta put all energy into like, let's do this shit correctly. I'm not gonna say jail saved my life. I'm gonna say like that December 6th when I got originally arrested, that was a moment in my life, I think, because my life had turned around, you know, like from that moment, you know, I moved to Texas and was by myself, and I went through all these periods, and life was going good. It was real rough at the beginning, you know, and that's why I talk about December 6th, because that's when I became sober. Like, that's when I was no more, nothing. Going and adjusting to life, being done playing ball, being in a new place by myself, being not in a relationship, because I was a relationship whore. I'm jumping from relationship to relationship, being alone, right? And just that alone, not having a job, all these different things I'm dealing with. And then I started working on myself and working on who I was, and gotten to a point where, you know, I started a company and I'm just happy with, like, I'm headed somewhere. And then, like, I go to get sentenced, and then I go to jail. So it kind of threw me off, because I went and started and built from nothing, and then I was ready to launch and I'm ready to open up, you know, I'm ready to
Be free.
Be free. And then I got locked up.
All right.
And so it was like, damn, here I go again. And it was kind of like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Like that, like God or life was testing me, like, you know, are you committed to this? You know, do you really want to be sober? Because, you know, inside you can do whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? And so it's like, there's a lot of are you sure's. I've really came a long way. And it's important that I get to do what I want to do and be this person that I'm becoming and show that to everybody and just show it to myself, because I deserve it. You know, like, I deserve it. And so going to jail, it was just a test. It was a test to see, you know, how committed am I to this person that I'm becoming, and you know, moving forward, am I sure this is who I want to be?
Yeah. Came up from the mud, it's like I walk around with a shoe stain. Uncle gave me fire when we kicked it, he was Luke Kane. Remember we was struggling for it, didn't needed loose change. Now the money never stopped, and I feel like I'm Bruce Wayne.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's Hump Day. No, we're not gonna.
Yeah, we kind of missed it.
It's Hump Day.
Guess what today is?
There's Humpty. Thank you, BC. Thank you, Andrew, for holding down the fort. Y'all knew that I was gonna be a few minutes late this morning. I appreciate you still having Humpty ready to go for me. Are you guys fan of Mean Girls?
What's Mean Girls?
Yeah, what is Mean? What are we talking about?
You've never seen Mean Girls?
No.
It's like a girl group.
No, it's not a girl group. You never see the movie Mean Girls?
No, why would, okay, what would make me say I want to go check out a movie called Mean Girls?
Because you've been with women, you have a daughter, like, you've never seen Mean Girls?
Nah.
Are you for
Is it
real?
on YouTube? I mean, I got it. Me and B both have 8-year-old girls. She's texting me right now. But they're on YouTube. If it ain't on YouTube,
No, it's a movie. Lindsay Lohan, that's Fetch. Stop trying to make Fetch happen. You guys, on Wednesday, we wear pink. You never seen that
Nah,
movie?
I haven't.
Ashley, no.
I have no clue what that is.
Okay, well, then this video is pointless then because you guys aren't going to send any other references. Walmart teamed up with the cast of Mean Girls years after the movie premiered. It was a global phenomenon. I went and saw this in the theater. It is just a movie that
at North Shore, some things never change. On Wednesdays, we still wear pink.
October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. I told him it was October
Get in, sweetie,
3rd.
we're going deal shopping.
But now, we shop Walmart Black Friday deals.
Buckle up.
Dope.
Karen Smith here with the weather. There's a 30% chance it's already went.
No, that's not. That's Amanda Seyfried. Lindsay Lohan will be coming up for a second. This guy here in the movie, he does a dance and he says, "Don't let the haters keep you down, yo." And he tells his son, "There's Lindsay Lohan. She's now a guidance counselor at the
That's really
school."
good.
But yes, so
Lindsay look good.
none of the references are gonna
No.
hit with you guys. I cannot believe neither one of you see Mean Girls.
No. But I think the concept's dope. We can talk about that, and we can talk about Lindsay. Lindsay look good.
She just had a baby.
She had a baby.
Nah, she do look dope.
She just had a
Right, 'cause,
baby.
like, you know her story. She been through a lot. So for her to be sitting there like that, looking great, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, she just had a baby. I believe she's just got married as well. But so congratulations to her. I was a big Lindsay Lohan fan growing up. So I guess back to football because we can't.
Yes, Ashley.
Can't
back
discuss
to football.
this.
Mean Girls.
Oh,
why would
hell
you
no.
try that?
I refuse to talk about this topic again. Brian is our producer. Brian, I'm not doing this. I refuse to talk about Aaron Rodgers coming back this year. Why is this in the rundown? I refuse to do this. I'm calling an audible. I am calling an audible. I refuse. I am not
why
doing it.
Why don't you think that he can come back? All right, would this be maybe the
I
last
don't
time for a week?
Now they
Last
low
time
key
for the rest of
making
the
it a
week.
thing now. Like they still talking about it. They low key making it a thing. Like
Why? Yeah. Why is it a thing now? Did somebody say something?
Oh my God. Okay, here we go.
I don't know. He did.
Let me put
I
on
will
my
say he
shocked
did have a
face
little,
like
a
we've
little
never had
push
this
off that thing, so
conversation
I don't know.
before.
That's why they could be.
Here we go. Aaron Rodgers said on Tuesday that he's giving advice to Kirk Cousins, who recently and has had his season ended due to an Achilles injury, on how to handle recovery with a torn Achilles. As we know, Aaron Rodgers underwent a different type of surgery to mend his torn Achilles that is being credited for the reason that he's been able to heal so quickly versus other situations, other quarterbacks, other athletes that we have seen in this situation. Now, while the torn Achilles usually ends a player's season, some still believe that Aaron Rodgers could return late in the season. Here's Jets GM Joe Douglas on that very thing.
Everything I've heard is that just to see him be able to do some of the things that he's doing, again, it's not surprising. I think we all know the competitive makeup that Aaron has, and I think he said it before. Like, he has goals, and he's gonna chase those goals, and he's gonna put every ounce of effort into achieving those goals. And so, nothing surprises me when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
You're expecting him to be back. Do you mean this year?
With the team. I have no timeline on. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I have no timeline to give you guys on him coming back, and so. But it's just good having him around. It's just when he's out there pregame, when he's around the team, it's just good having him in the building.
So you're not saying you're expecting him to play this year?
No, I'm not putting anything out there like that. Again, that's not my place. I'm not a doctor, and I don't have any breaking news for you like that.
He was always cool.
All right, so
it's happening.
do we think that Aaron Rodgers is coming back? 39-year-old quarterback returned from a torn Achilles in less than 4 months. We've seen him throw on the football field several times. We know how he feels about science, except when science works in his favor. He says that he doesn't know if he's coming back, but he also says that he may or may not come back. I don't know. I'm genuinely, Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. Brandon, this is your alley.
Yeah,
Go ahead, take it. I'm tapped out. Okay,
Listen,
this and James Harden, I don't want to discuss it anymore.
Right. Well, first off, Joe Douglas, the general manager who we just heard from, you guys may have caught my audio. I was talking about him in the commercial or during the soundbite where he's doing a hell of a job. Even when I would go around the team when they were losing, before there was Aaron Rodgers or even a Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson brought a little excitement for a couple of months when they drafted him. He always had his hands steady. He was always cool, right? You know this, B, when you're losing and that environment is real toxic, it's a real test, and he always stood up strong. So I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. Look, the New York Jets are on a 3-game winning streak, okay? So the last 3 games, they go to Denver, they beat Denver. They go to Philly, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? They beat the Giants this past Sunday. The season is about to start now. And if they can get through this 4-5-game stretch, this 3-4-game stretch, and they're still right in contention, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I know Ashley, 39. You got 2024 season. Why you rush it? Like for me, it's about now. You never know when you're gonna get that opportunity. You never know, right? Like we don't even know like how much longer Aaron Rodgers is going to play, right? Aaron Rodgers, hell, his last year in Green Bay. This is Aaron Rodgers. They sucked. So if your team can sneak into the playoffs, you get into the dance, you don't know what's going to happen. So absolutely, if you're Aaron Rodgers and you can protect yourself in a pocket, it's going to look a little different. But if you can protect yourself, you absolutely go out there and give it a shot.
Can I be honest about something really quick? Because here's where my confusion lies. And B-Flow, jump in when I say this, because maybe it's just me. We saw Aaron Rodgers last year with the Green Bay Packers. He looked horrible.
He didn't look
not
horrible.
horrible. He didn't look great. Is that fair?
He wasn't the MVP, the back-to-back MVP.
So he didn't look great. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay, he didn't look great. We didn't see him play with the Jets. We only saw preseason. We saw 17 seconds of a regular season. We don't even know what this Jets team was going to look like with Aaron Rodgers. We have no idea what version of Aaron Rodgers we were going to get with this Jets team. We're putting so much stock into the name Aaron Rodgers, and I get it. I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers, one of the best, as Brandon says, one of the best passers of the football, throwers of the football. I get it. Right. Super Bowl winner, Hall of Fame quarterback. But we're putting so much stock into him being a savior for a team that we didn't even see him play with. We don't even know what this team looks like with him at the forefront. You don't know if this is a playoff team. You don't know if it's a Super Bowl team. You have no idea. We're only putting stock because it's Aaron Rodgers. And yes, I understand that, but there's a lot of things that have to also go right. And we don't know what that would have looked like with him because we only saw him play 72 seconds of a season.
Go ahead, B.
So you're putting stock in him to come back and save a season for what? Like, what are we saving?
I can't believe you sitting here and saying you don't know why everybody have hope for Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
This is New York, right? New York always had this thing they planned in their head with the what ifs, right? If Rodgers come back, we can do this. Something like the Knicks. Like if R.J. Barrett,
Hold on,
Julius
time out. Why'd I catch a
Randle,
stray?
And if the Yankees, the
Time
Judge
out.
comes and
That's
hits
how I'm
home
saying-
run. Like New York always have this what if.
But you know what R.J. Barrett looks like with the Knicks. You know what Carmelo Anthony looks like with the Knicks. We're putting all our stock on Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, as a singular entity, and not Aaron Rodgers, the leader of the New York Jets. You don't know what this team looks like.
You know why
putting
they're
so
doing
much
that?
stock in him to come and save the season when you don't know how it's all going to mesh together. We didn't see it happen.
You know why they're doing that? Because they know he'll be just so much better than Zach Wilson. And if they always having a chance to get in the playoffs with Zach Wilson, they know Aaron Rodgers is like tremendously better. He just came off back-to-back MVPs, excluding that last year. Not talking about just making a Pro Bowl. You're talking about MVPs of the whole league. So you know he still has
But
it in him.
he also gives you the best opportunity to win too, right? Like, because we had this debate, y'all kept challenging me. Why wouldn't you go out there and upgrade at the quarterback position right now? And I'm like, well, Zach Wilson gives you the best opportunity to win. So when Aaron Rodgers, let's say come January, he can get out there and move, right? They're going to look at this and they're going to evaluate the situation. If he can move and he gives you a better opportunity than Zach Wilson, you absolutely move forward. But I would say 70%, 80% Aaron Rodgers is better than 90% of the guys out there.
Yeah.
Yes, what I'm saying is 70-80% of Aaron Rodgers as Aaron Rodgers, a singular entity, is better than, I agree with you, most quarterbacks. But we all know that chemistry is not something that you can just turn on and off. We see it throughout sports. Name the sport,
I agree
you
with
can
you
name
there.
it. So we're putting all this stock on the greatness of Aaron Rodgers to put his cape on and save a team that has not played with him, doesn't know his quirks, doesn't know his ins and outs. He doesn't know his receivers' ins and outs. There's no.
They had the offseason.
That seems like 10 years ago at
It
this
does.
point.
It does. But let me ask you this: what do you have to
don't-
lose? Because the thing that what it sounds like what you're saying is 2024 is
No,
what they
no,
have
no.
to
Well, I
lose.
mean, I
because
think-
like why not go out
I
there
think
if he comes out and says, "You look, I'm ready to go in January," and they're right where they need to be. What do you have to lose?
I think I'm only saying not this year. I'm thinking Aaron Rodgers, his age, his health, having him for an entire season is better than having him for a fraction of a season that may or may not turn into something. That's not a gamble I think you make, despite what type of incredible, moves that he's made in 4 months post-surgery. I just don't think you take
wouldn't
that
risk it.
gamble.
Right.
But
I agree.
I'm saying that in terms of if he does come back, there's this just larger than life expectation that he's going to come in and be the savior. And it's unrealistic for a quarterback that has maybe 1.5 preseason games and a couple of months of training camp with this team. They don't know each other.
The thing you missing, Ash, and why the Jets are so excited, because if they can get in the playoffs, it might can happen, bro, because their next 2 weeks, they got the Chargers and the Raiders. They both beatable. Then they got 2 division games, and they got the Falcons and the Texans. Like, they can get into the playoffs and sneak in there.
Yeah.
But what you missing, Ash, when you saying, like, what makes you
Interesting.
think Rodgers can get this done, some players just got that it factor.
That's
No,
right.
I'm not saying what makes you think Rodgers can get it done. What I'm saying is that when you're coming to the playoffs and you're going to go against a team like, the Kansas City Chiefs, they know each other in and out. Travis Kelce doesn't even have to speak to Patrick. It's a look. Patrick Mahomes has a feel for that offense.
But they don't need Aaron Rodgers to do that, though.
It's a heartbeat. Like, he just knows the ins and outs. All I'm saying is that I get it. Aaron Rodgers is great. That he is greatness personified. That is not always enough to come in and save a situation when you haven't been in the situation.
I don't think that's what they need from Aaron Rodgers. Coming into this year, what I said was we don't need the back-to-back MVP Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because you have a running game and you have a top 5 defense. Aaron Rodgers didn't have to come out this year and throw for 5,000 yards for this team to be a contender. I felt like Aaron Rodgers needed to come into this situation and be a great manager. Just manage. Make the right decision. Don't turn the ball over. So that's what you need out of Aaron Rodgers for this team to be successful, because you have a complete team.
When you talk about success, though, just success to compete, because when you're going against a Chiefs, when you're going against a Ravens, when you're going against a team, they've been in the trenches with each other all season. They know the highs, the lows. They figured each other out. You think that because Aaron Rodgers is great, that's enough to combat all those intangibles 100%. Of other teams? That he doesn't know. He doesn't know this football team.
He does. He does.
Every day with
he
them.
built the chemistry with him on the off season, and you can hear what everybody say about him.
Y'all gonna compare practice and training camp to actual game experience with your guys?
I'm gonna tell you why. You see what the GM say about Rodgers and everybody in the locker room. He just come around. It make us feel good. Like we walk different. Like we talk different. He makes his team believe. You see
your hands as a receiver.
So then why couldn't he do that last year? Last year he was completely healthy, and he wasn't
happy.
This is a different
but
situation.
He was healthy.
Everybody's happy in New York when he's
But he was healthy.
Yeah, but there's so many different factors. We're basically winning or just getting an opportunity to play a game is so precious, right? Because it could be gone just like that. And when you get an opportunity, you take that opportunity if you're in a safe space. So to me, Ashley, there's a lot of validity behind what you're saying as far as like, can he get this team over the hump? 70%, 80% Aaron Rodgers? We don't know. And that's the beautiful thing about this and the excitement around this. Aaron Rodgers coming back. We're all going to be leaning in. Let's see how he looks. Let's see if he holds up. Let's see if he can make that play. Like, that's the excitement about sports and competing at a level. You heard Joe Douglas say that. He's the ultimate competitor. Even his whole journey is, like, inspiring to me. Yeah. Like, a dude to say, I'm going to define the odds, right? 4 months, I'm going to be back. That's a beautiful thing. You were going somewhere earlier when you were saying, like, there's some dudes that just have the it. Jalen Ramsey has the it. We didn't think Jalen Ramsey was going to come back to the end of December, January. This dude had a pick on Sunday, B.
Yeah. Some players just have that.
Jalen Ramsey's not a quarterback,
Going back,
it's harder for Jalen Ramsey, a knee injury, to backpedal and do all of that.
He's not responsible for leading an offense.
But going back to the Jets, right? They're not going to ask Rodgers, like you said, to be MVP Rodgers, right? They defense is winning games for them right now. They won games for them last year. Right. They're going to keep the game close. What does Aaron Rodgers do well? Make good decisions, and when you get to the red zone, he's going to make them back shoulder throws that nobody in the league can make. But again, that's all they're going to need him to do.
Last season, you say he wasn't happy.
They didn't have a top 5 defense.
You said he wasn't happy, which is why he didn't play that great.
It's not that he didn't play great. He didn't have a great situation. How many balls did his wide receivers drop?
Statistically, he
wasn't
his
I know,
best.
but look at the receiving
core. But I'm not diving into. I'm not saying what you're saying is inaccurate.
I'm
not saying what you're saying is inaccurate. I'm just simply saying statistically, it wasn't one of his best years. The reasons are plentiful, but I'm just saying statistically, wasn't one of Aaron Rodgers' best years. But I'd be willing to say that the year prior he wasn't happy. Didn't he win MVP that year?
Yeah, but that's what I mean by how precious these games and these opportunities are, because you don't know what you're going to get year to year. You know what I mean? Like Aaron Rodgers, we saw Aaron Rodgers in preseason. We saw Aaron Rodgers in camp. Aaron Rodgers was still making his plays, still making beautiful throws. That was enough for everybody to say, you know what, we have a chance. So I'm not sure, maybe you can finish where you're going with this as far as like, all right,
all I'm simply saying, we'll move on to Dion. All I'm simply saying is Aaron Rodgers is great. Aaron Rodgers is also 39 years old. Aaron Rodgers is coming off an Achilles injury. Aaron Rodgers has not played with these guys, so he is great. I just think that everyone should stop expecting him to be a miracle worker. He may come back. It may not be the outcome that everyone thinks it's going to be. And if it's not, there's a lot of reasons why that would make sense. That's my only point.
Oh, yeah, but maybe we're having the wrong conversation. I don't think that the conversation is about the Jets winning the Super Bowl anymore.
It sounds like a lot of people are expecting Aaron Rodgers to put his cape on and save Gotham City, and that's not how it's going to work.
I don't know what conversation you're having, B, but I feel like, the excitement around this story is Aaron Rodgers coming back and potentially playing in the playoffs with the Jets. Like me as a Jets fan and a former player, I'm not saying I don't have the same hopes for them.
But
like,
if he's coming
we're going to win the Super Bowl when Aaron Rodgers come back.
But if you want him to come back and play, that's because you want to give yourself a chance to win.
And he gives them a chance, but
I think it's a realistic chance that they can make a run.
All I'm saying is don't expect him to put the cape on and come and save Gotham City, and now the Jets season is completely miraculously turned around. There is a strong possibility that he comes back Maybe and depending on when he comes back in the season,
Watch
he comes
this.
back, they win a couple of games, and the outcome is not what everyone thinks it's going to be.
Watch this. Peyton Manning was trash that last year when he won a Super Bowl. Remember, what was his name? Brock Osweiler?
We don't say trash. He just wasn't himself. Don't diss my favorite quarterback now.
Okay,
you know
Peyton's
my guy.
I love you, big head.
Peyton's my guy.
Well, that
You
might
could
be
say
a pause,
big head.
Mom. That's might be a pause.
He has a big head.
I know. That's why I said it.
No, you didn't say what's
That's
up,
my
big
guy.
head. You
I
said,
love
oh
Peyton.
my gosh.
Maybe we need to get Peyton on the show to talk about this. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna hit him up.
Listen,
but
last
hold
point on this, Brandon.
So,
Go ahead.
so Peyton Manning that last year when they won the Super Bowl in Denver. Were you in KC that year, or you were in San Diego?
I was in Dago.
You was in Dago.
Yeah.
Okay, Dago. You say Dago.
What the hell is Dago?
So he started that year.
That's a cool way to say San
Yeah.
Diego.
Sorry.
He started that year as the guy. Then Brock Osweiler took over.
Mm-hmm.
And can I say he was trash? Okay.
Is he in the league anymore? No,
No.
right? Okay, so go ahead.
So he played like trash when he got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he played like trash.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he take over? Because Peyton Manning couldn't throw it past 30 yards.
He couldn't move his neck also.
Couldn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Their defense, Von Miller. They had our boy that DeMarcus Ware.
Mm-hmm.
They had Brandon Marshall, the linebacker,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Ward. Talib was there on the cornerback position. They had a couple. They
Chris
were top
Harris.
5
The defense won the Super Bowl for
Right. Cool. And they had some playmakers on offense. He comes back. They give him the ball. Get into the playoffs. And then they go on that run. They win the Super Bowl. Isn't that the same situation? Like, he couldn't throw it 30 yards. But it's like what B said.
I would say Osweiler.
It's like what B said and Joe
Wilson,
Douglas said. Like,
Right.
there's some guys that walk in the locker room to just give us all hope. And that's Aaron Rodgers. He makes everybody better. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers coming back, as a wide receiver, feel like your hands are better. When guys like that go down, the entire locker room, we're sitting here. B right there. Ashley, you here, I'm here. We all sitting here. The training room is right there. You can see into the training room. Some of y'all can't, so y'all might have to dip a little bit to see, all right, what's going on. Aaron Rodgers get wheeled into there. Or any of your star players. They get wheeled in there. You're looking like, is he coming back? Is he coming back? There's this feeling that you have when guys like that go down or even come back in. Coming back in, you're like, oh my goodness, how many times have we seen superstars come back into the game? And everybody's like, oh, that's what happens with Aaron Rodgers. That's what happened with Peyton Manning. Was that a good?
Nah, that was great, bro. You
That
had me
was
on the
good.
edge of my seat just now.
That was good.
Yeah.
She don't want to give it to me. Come on.
Okay, moving on to Deion.
No, come on, just give me some
I was
love
on the edge of my
say
seat.
That was a good one because, I'm hit or miss with these.
That was a good one. That was a very good one. That was a good one. You had
I was on the edge of my seat, bro. I was like,
Don't say beef. Flo
let's
had
go.
you too. Like, where is he going? When I did this dip right here, when I said that right there.
Well, listen, moving on. Deion Sanders.
What happened with
apparently-
Deion? What's going on with
listen,
Deion?
The NCAA may have to run Deion and his guys their money because the big news in college football over the weekend wasn't on the field, but it was actually what happened in the visiting locker room at UCLA, where jewelry and other items were stolen from the Colorado Buffaloes football team. Deion Sanders actually addressed the situation yesterday and had this to say.
Okay, let me address this. Our kids got robbed during the game last week. I think that's a travesty, and I would expect the NCAA to do something about that. These are college kids. I'm pretty sure they don't think about insurance at this point in this juncture in their life. We've talked about NILs and how to really maintain their finances. We've pretty much given them financial planners and given them the resources for that. But the insurance part of it, we slipped. And we didn't really educate them on that. So I wish, I know the kids would be forthright in what was stolen, and some of our just staff members as well. And now all that stuff should be replaced.
First of all, wow. So I actually worked the Orange Bowl. That was my first big job out of college. The 2015 Orange Bowl was Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson.
Oh, wow.
And this actually happened to
That was
Oklahoma.
a big game.
Yeah, it was a huge game.
Yeah.
It's actually happened to some of the players in the locker room, Oklahoma. They said that some of their stuff was stolen. And I always wondered, like, just because I had credentials to be back there, I knew how difficult it was to get back there. It's not something that like you can just walk your way back. There's security at every checkpoint. You know, you have to have certain credentials. It has to be the right color. If it's not a locker room color, you can't go into the locker. Like, they won't even let you. So I always wondered how things got stolen out of locker rooms. And then it started to dawn on me, it had to be an inside job, because I'm telling you, it is so difficult for somebody to just walk back there and to walk into the locker room. Like, I had credentials for the Clemson locker room, not the Oklahoma locker room, and they wouldn't even let me in there, like, post-game. So I never understood how this happened.
You know what? This is crazy because Fox just released a story. I think it was Fox, if I'm not mistaken. Well, this happened to us in college when I was at Virginia Tech. So the night before the game, we played at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, and some fans stole, like right before we was going to play at 1 o'clock, stole my jersey, Tyrod Taylor jersey, Cam Chancellor jersey. So we had to take the field at Georgia Tech.
Think about the Cam Chancellor. Go keep
So they took our jerseys, right, and we had to play in the game for the whole first half in Georgia Tech practice jerseys. So we literally playing in the game in Georgia Tech, big baggy practice jerseys because somebody got in our locker room before we were in there.
Practice jerseys that you packed up? Like,
nah, we don't bring practice jerseys.
What about like a starter jacket or something that had like the rights?
We had to have something with our number on it. Like, we didn't bring no extra jerseys, but that's just to be said. Like, this can happen. It happened to me, but I don't understand how it happened during the game. So, because it should be so much security there, like you said.
There is so
Ash.
much security.
Like,
that's why I keep saying it has to be an inside job. And I mean, I'm telling you, I've worked Super Bowls, you know, and we did the Super Bowl in LA when I was at Sports Illustrated, and I had credentials to get back there, and I didn't have locker room credentials, and I tried to go in there to just do some like post game stuff. And they wouldn't let me in there, and I had a Sports Illustrated. Like, I don't understand how you could just get in there.
Well, come on, guys. Like,
it's an inside job. It has to be.
People still, like, come on, this is common. And Ashley, what you're talking about big events where there's more security and everything's heightened. You're talking about the Super Bowl. You're talking about the Orange Bowl. I know exactly what you're talking about there. But regular games, it's more lax. And then when I say people still, think about the ball boys or the extra, the people who are holding the sticks and all of that. Like, there's not just your team in your locker room or got access to your locker room on game day. There's so many other people that's involved, that's, you know, going in and out of your locker room or going in and out of those spaces just to operate on game day. So this person who may be making $12 an hour, and they see, and this is where players got to be smart, they see a Rolex watch sitting there or a chain sitting outside, there's a problem. We knew because this happened a couple of times to us, right? Like, where you hear, like, man, somebody took this, I misplaced this. Man, hell, even in practice, bro, because there was a couple of times you might realize, more so in college, where dudes, you be like, damn, I'm missing something. Coach standing in front of the room. We don't deal with this. I need this returned by the end of right? So, but for me, what I've learned in college was any of those things that were valuable, I locked up, right? Like, I didn't leave those things out. So I can absolutely see how this could happen.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen. Like, when USC played in Colorado, they didn't get robbed.
I know it's not happening all the time.
It don't happen all the time.
That's what makes you think that there has to be, like, it's an inside job.
Nah, but not
the job. The inside job to me is potentially a ball boy.
It don't even have to be an inside job.
It could be a doctor.
Think about this, B.
It can be. The one actress that had making millions of dollars, remember, she was stealing clothes and stuff.
B, think about this. When you playing on the road, right? When you playing on the road in college, you got so many equipment managers, so many everything. They don't have credentials. They just got on your sweatsuit in college, and they walk into the field and they walking back. So if you're doing security, you don't know them opposing equipment guys by face. All somebody got to do, if Colorado is playing, wherever they was playing, put on the Colorado sweats, walk in the locker room like they've been there. Nobody's going to question them. Nobody has, like, passes like how we're saying, Ash, because it's Super Bowl or anything like that. Because there's so many people. It's like 80 people traveling.
That's right.
It could be a young guy that they thought was like a freshman, didn't travel. Like, think about it. When you didn't – let's just say you got redshirted. You just got them sweats, and you can walk in and out the locker room as you please during the game, whenever.
They don't have cameras in the locker room.
But even think about this. Hold on,
You can't have cameras in the locker room for real.
Outside the locker room. You can see who goes in and out.
Yeah, but hold on. But
you do a whole investigation that way.
Yeah, well,
because you see who goes in, who goes out, and you can you know what time
there should
you
be.
weren't.
You put a little hoodie on and you good. How they go?
It depends on. I've never seen any cameras in like stadiums, away locker rooms or anything like that. That's interesting. Yeah, but here's the thing though. When you say inside job, and I hate to do this, right? Because I do agree with Dion, like, man, somebody need to be held accountable. But that person can be on your own team. B, I don't know about you when you was at VTech, when I was at UCF, right? There was a couple times where we don't do this. What's happening here? You know, we got a thief on the team. Dion went through that at Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't remember? Like, there was a viral clip where Dion had to call out people. Like, his bag got stolen. He got stuff stolen. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a common thing, and that could actually happen on your team. You think about a freshman. This dude come from nothing. He ain't got nothing. Mom ain't got no food. Shop. And he know, you want to throw up the rollie every day. Yeah,
you can get another one.
Yeah, you get another one. You making $4 million.
Yeah,
it could be somebody on your team.
It'd be your own people.
It'd be your own people.
That's crazy. Well, listen, karma is very, very real. So I hope that whoever took those items returns them. Especially if
that's in the pawn shop. It's over with.
Especially if it was
insurance.
Especially if it wasn't if it was a kid, like not kid, but like if it was a young, I'm gonna call them kids. If it was kid on kid crime, okay, teammate on teammate crime. But if you're an adult stealing from children,
some people got problems. Them ain't children.
They're looking at that as money.
No children. Yeah, they
compared to
$20,000 Rolex.
Compared to you, a 20-year-old as a child.
Hey, there's some people out there
compared to a 50-year-old, 20-year-old is a child. Like, stealing from children is corny. Like,
it is, but they ain't giving it back. You gonna give it back because you a grown person? No,
that's all right. What goes around comes around. Listen,
I agree with you there.
We're 100%. Gonna go ahead and keep it moving. And James Harden getting not doing it.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I like it, B. I like it, B. I like it, B.
I gave y'all Aaron Rodgers. I'm not giving you James Harden.
One more time.
I gave you Aaron Rodgers. I gave you Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even.
Look how heated that debate was with Aaron Rodgers.
It was a good debate.
I am not going to engage in a conversation about the Clippers winning a title. Are you serious? I am moving on.
They got pieces.
Let's show people
You're not going to trick me into talking about this.
I'm not going to trick you.
No.
Just why?
Brian, you and I got to have a talk, Brian.
But tell us why, though.
You and I, back to back is crazy. Why are we having a conversation about the Clippers winning a title? That's not even possible. Leave it alone.
You mean? Not even possible?
You said him leaving Philly wasn't possible.
Him winning a title with the Clippers weren't winning a title without him. They're not winning a title with him.
Oh, what?
They weren't winning a title regardless. He doesn't make or break that. It's the same.
His 24-7 and 10 assists. That ain't good. That ain't adding value to them.
Going with Kawhi and PG?
The Clippers were, let me say this again. Let me break this down again. The Clippers were not winning a title without James Harden. They're not winning a title with James Harden. I don't know how else to break this down for you guys.
So
it's not happening.
I don't know now.
No, it's debatable.
Well, listen.
Whatever.
Hold on. The best team. No. Now she want to talk. Go. Now she go.
Here's what Draymond Green had to say about the situation. Listen to this.
We got her, B.
James Harden's a Clipper now. So what's your view of L.A. as a rival in the Western Conference?
When you put those names on paper, they'll be as good as any names you can put together. You're talking 4 first ballot Hall of Famers, 2 MVPs, 1 Finals MVP, a perennial All-Star. You can't put much else better on paper. They're also getting older, just like us. I think all of those guys are probably in year 14 or 15 or above. Kawhi's Clay year, so it's 13. And so health will be important as well. And even around those guys, they still got Zubac. They still got Norman Powell. Still got Bones Highland.
PJ Tucker in on that deal too with Harden.
And then they also have an incredible coach in Ty Lue. So there'll be a force to be reckoned with. You hope to get to the end and see everybody healthy and may the best man win. But there'll be a tough team.
Ooh. I hear you, Draymond.
Yeah. Yes. Listen.
He didn't make some good points right there, Ash.
Nobody questioned whether or not it was going to be a good team. Like he said, you have 4 future Hall of Famers. We're talking about winning a title. They're not winning a title. They're not winning a title. It's not going to happen. They're not winning a title. It's just not happening.
Hold on. So listen.
I said this yesterday. Regular season James Harden, phenomenal. The numbers don't lie. Postseason James Harden, Casper, ghost, doesn't exist. Also, you're banking a lot on having a healthy Kawhi and Paul George for the entire.
But he was doing too much, though. But what about this James Harden?
Kawhi has health issues with his knees.
He doesn't need to do that. But we've never seen James Harden in a situation where now you can defer to Russell Westbrook, you can defer to a Kawhi, you can
he
defer.
Played with Russell Westbrook in OKC.
Yeah, but I'm talking about that was when they were young and babies before they broke it up.
And in
Houston, they were trash. They didn't have an opportunity, and even in Brooklyn, all three of them played together 2 years, 8 games in 2 years.
He was hurt.
All of them was hurt at a point.
You also had the MVP Joel Embiid and PJ Tucker, who is now your teammate in Los Angeles. You couldn't make that work.
The only reason why I brought that point up is because sometimes you can't carry it. Sometimes you're not the guy. But now I'm being surrounded by all those guys because you're talking about postseason.
I'm not giving you that. I'm not
but
gonna
they,
do that.
like you said, like B said, they don't.
I'm not gonna give you that, Brandon.
If they can just get the assist out of James Harden,
I'm not gonna give either one of you that because we're not talking about a James Harden who has played with scrubs his entire career.
True.
He has played with several Hall of Famers throughout his career.
No. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
He has played with several number 1 draft picks in his career.
He had to be the guy.
In Houston, he had to be the guy.
He was not the guy. Brooklyn,
but
he barely.
In the playoffs last year,
he wasn't the guy. But he was the second guy. He had to. What are you talking about?
Brandon, he has played with some of the greatest players we have ever seen. OKC was a force to be reckoned with. But what I'm saying, in every situation outside of OKC, he had to be a guy that's dropping 25 to 30 every single night.
Yeah,
you played on a team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now,
they wasn't all there together, though.
Injury
they
and
played
stuff,
8 games. We can't
injury
even count
or
that.
whatever the case may be, but you didn't have to be the guy on that team. You were third string at best.
But that's when he embraced the point guard role, and they were asking, well, can he distribute the ball? Will he be okay with that? And that's where you see over the last 5 years, he was averaging 7 assists a year. Over the last 5 years when he embraced this role, 10 assists, 11 assists.
You think he was the guy in Philly?
He had to be. They wanted him to be because Embiid.
Joel Embiid was the guy in Philly.
Listen.
What are we talking about?
No, we're talking about. When
I get what you're saying, B.
Yeah, you understand. Like,
because last year they needed.
Who's your big 3? Who's your big 2?
They needed him to go for 30 in the playoffs last year. It was like Harden, we need you to score.
You guys are talking about James Harden like he has been on these poverty-stricken teams that he has had to put his cape on and drop 40 plus a night for them to stand a chance. That's not even remotely close to the case. Don't rewrite history.
You say in Houston he had a super duper team?
Houston was a different situation. You had Russell Westbrook at one point. You had Chris Paul, both guys that you asked for. By the way,
this is what I say about that.
But let's not negate
Chris Paul,
the
same situation. He gets to the postseason, he get hurt.
OKC wasn't.
Chris Paul got hurt. They were balling.
Chris Paul gets moved. He doesn't force his way out of situations. That's a different situation. That's a different conversation. Chris Paul is actually being moved against his will.
You got to keep up with her. She going. See how she bouncing.
Stop acting like James Harden has not played with top-tier talent his entire tenure in the NBA, that he has always had to be the number 1 option. That is not true.
We're not saying number 1, top 2. You need 2 guys, right?
Yes,
and if he wasn't the top guy, you wouldn't care if he performed or not.
And Houston
you
didn't
care that
have
he didn't perform because you needed him to perform for them to win.
Houston didn't have big names, but Houston had a squad. Don't sleep on him.
They had a squad.
Go look up the Houston team that James
If
Harden was
when they got hurt, they would have made a run.
What he went like 10 games in a row, dropping 40. Here's what I would say to answer the question, right? Clippers winning a title with Harden.
I'm embarrassed.
It's possible.
Very possible.
It's possible for the Nuggets. It's possible for the Suns. It's possible for the Clippers. Now you can get into odds and probability. So they'll probably be maybe 3, 4 on that list. But absolutely it's possible. But right now, you have the Denver Nuggets who are 4-0 playing a phenomenal basketball. Like last year it's turning out that last year was not a one-hit wonder. They're playing better basketball than anybody else, and everybody went out there and made some significant moves. But the Suns, they're sitting at 2-2, but they haven't. Outside of opening night, Devin Booker hasn't been there. He's been hurt. And then you have Bradley Beal. He hasn't even touched the court. So now you got Kevin Durant out there trying to hold it down, but they're still right there. So There's
can't
a
believe
few
y'all said in
teams.
Houston, he had freaking Trevor Ariza. He
But
had
they did
good.
make a run.
Trevor Ariza was in year 17.
Trevor Ariza was a baller when he was in Houston. He had
defense.
Dwight
What are you talking
Howard.
about?
He
Dwight
had Chandler
Howard?
Parsons.
What Dwight
he
Howard
had
did
Chris
they have?
Paul. He had Westbrook.
With Dwight Howard.
Like he.
With Dwight Howard.
He had James.
With
Like
Dwight
I don't
Howard.
like this pass that James
With
Harden.
Dwight Howard, Ashley.
Stop it. I don't like this pass that James Harden gets, like as if he has just played with scrubs his entire career. He has had teams that guys dream of, that guys have chased their entire career, and he has squandered every single one of them.
As you have a point.
I'm sorry if I don't believe that now that he's on a team with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who I hope, because they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, play a full season, but the possibility of that happening is probably unlikely. I hope that it is different for James Harden, but you know what? You only got to show me once or twice the type of person you are, and I believe you. They're not winning a championship with this man. They are not.
You have a point. He haven't performed well in the playoffs. He made his bed. He got to lay in it. But all me and B is saying is they needed him to score 30. And when he didn't, that's why they lost.
That's not
true. But listen. Let me finish. Here, let's just say everybody stays healthy, right? Paul George can get buckets. Kawhi's a machine. Terrence Mann can go out there and get buckets. Norman Powell can still come off the bench and get buckets. Russ can get streaky and get buckets. So if you just take his assists and don't even worry about his points in the playoffs, if he can just distribute the ball and get people going, even if they mix up the lineup, he's going with the second group in the second quarter, they just need him to get them going up and down the floor while those boys get.
Like he had in Houston. Did he win in Houston?
That's not
because he had to drop 30. That's why. Because he had. But you missed his point.
They have
you missed his
MVPs
point.
Like Kawhi.
They needed him to drop 30.
Let me explain something to you. You're not going to get a full season out of Kawhi Leonard. James Harden.
We don't need him. We need
James Harden is
postseason.
going to be beneficial because you're going to be able to rest Kawhi Leonard. It's going to be load management. He's probably they're not going to play together as much as you think there are. He's going to serve as a buffer between Kawhi. Load management and also Paul George's load management problem.
That's all we need.
All I'm saying is if you think that this team is winning a title, I'm not saying they're going to be competitive.
I think they have a chance.
Okay.
So you saying there's a chance.
Like does the
all I want everybody to do.
Does the Nuggets have a chance to win the title?
Do not compare the Nuggets to the Clippers.
I'm just asking you. Nuggets?
Because the
Suns,
Nuggets have done it.
Does the Nuggets have a chance to win it this year?
To repeat? Yes.
What about the Suns? Do they have a chance?
I don't know. The jury's out. I haven't.
So the Nuggets are the only team that has a chance?
I haven't seen them play together. I can't make that assessment just based on Kevin Durant.
The Warriors are sitting at 2-2, but Curry is off to his best start since 2016.
I have more faith in the Warriors right now than I have in the Suns because I haven't seen him, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker on the court. I can't make that assessment.
Okay, so the Nuggets are the only ones.
I think the Warriors have a good chance as well. But I have seen them play together. I haven't seen the big three in Phoenix yet. I can't make that assessment. If you want me to just place it on the fact of Kevin Durant being an absolute monster, for sure. Okay, yeah, they have a chance.
Devin Booker being.
Listen, you got to base it off of once they get in the playoffs. If they stay healthy with this squad, can they make a run? Because you can't tell me 5 teams who are just clearly better than them in the West.
That's right.
Like, so
can't do it.
You can't.
Can't do it.
You
Ashley.
can't say
Stop,
5 teams
Ashley.
that's clearly better.
She can't.
You're thinking too hard already.
Pull it up. Look, Google. Go to ESPN.
So my thing is,
Western
once this team get in the playoffs, and let's just say these guys are healthy,
y'all
are
doing what I hate when people do this in the NBA. I hate when people do this in sports in general. You're looking at a piece of paper and putting so much stock in names on a piece of paper before you have seen them take the court together.
No.
That's the same thing people did with Brooklyn. Oh, Brooklyn's going to win a chip this year. Oh, we're going to bring a parade back to New York. Because...
yeah, right. Yeah, stay right here.
All you have to do is just give me 5 teams.
I can't make the assessment who's better than who. First of all, I have not seen these guys play together. I haven't seen Phoenix's big 3 play together. I can only use
Brian, our producer, just said we need Ashley's power rankings.
I think Sacramento is better than the Clippers right now.
All right, so give us your power rankings.
I can't put them in.
What do you mean?
Order.
There's people all around the world doing power rankings.
They're not in order. I have Denver, Golden State. This is again not in order. I'd probably still have Phoenix in there, even though I need to see Devin Booker, Bradley Beal them on the.
You got them at 3 though.
They're in there.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not in order. I'm just naming them.
No, they in order.
I got Sacramento on there. Sacramento is nice, and honestly, right now, before the Clippers, I'm putting Dallas.
Dallas.
You put Dallas before the Clippers?
Are they undefeated?
I'm not
or
putting
3-1?
Dallas
3-1 or 4-1?
Right now, I'm
They're
putting
3-0?
Dallas. Right now, I'm putting
Dallas
Dallas
is
before
playing
the
good ball.
Clippers.
Luka's.
Dallas is playing
I
phenomenal
don't
basketball.
trust Dallas.
You
Bro,
don't
Luka.
trust Dallas, but you trust a team that you haven't seen play together because of names on a piece of paper.
100%.
Okay.
Ashley, you funny.
Okay, cool.
You funny.
Okay.
I can't wait. Y'all got me watching basketball before
Yeah.
March.
Okay.
This is good.
Okay.
Ashley.
Listen, before we close out the show, because I can't do this anymore, we're going to go ahead and slide things over to B-Flow because he's going to give us his top 5 NFL MVP candidates. Here we go. Halfway through the NFL season, B-Flow, the floor is yours.
Here we go. So, you know, Flo never wrong. Flo knows. So, number 5.
Flo knows. You heard that? Flo knows. I like
We're
that.
going to start it off with a bang and go Josh Allen. I know what you're going to say. Josh Allen, he ain't been consistent, but all he does is lead the NFL in completion percentage with 71%. He's leading the league in the QBR. He's 4th in passing, and he's 3rd in touchdowns with 17, and the leader, they have 18. So Josh Allen is number 5 because you know he can get hot, he can get streaky and get his team on a run, right? So number 4, here we go, Patrick Mahomes. He having his worst year consistently, but greats like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, even when they had their worst years, they still ranked among the best. He's still 3rd in passing yards, and he still had the Chiefs in 1st place in the AFC. And you know Mahomes can get hot at any moment, so he can still turn this thing on. I see that face you making. He can still turn this thing on and make a little push to go and win this little MVP candidate race. Number 3, they say it's a quarterback's trophy, but I'm going A.J. Brown.
Okay.
60 receptions. We always talk about Mr. Tyreek Hill, who may or may not be on this list, having 1,000 yards 8 games in. But A.J. Brown got 939 yards and averaging 15.6 a yard. And he didn't even get to rock the first 2 games. We seen him and Jalen getting into it. So I got to show love to A.J. Brown with my number 3 slot. Number 2, we're going with Tua man. Leading in the passing yards, leading the NFL in passing yards, leading them in touchdowns. And guess what? He's still getting Waddle, baby, Waddle, baby, Waddle, baby. He coming back. Waddle finna come back. Just went for 100 yards last game.
Funny.
His running game coming back. So we got Tua man at number 2. And we all know who at number 1. The man, the myth, the legend, Tyreek Hill, 61 reception yards, over 1,000 yards, 8 games in, averaging 16 yards a reception. I mean, legend has it. Only Flo can lock him down on the island, but we'll never know. I'm retired. But this is the list. I mean, I think it's flawless. Do anybody have anything they can change?
Well, yeah, I mean, your last
Lamar
comment,
Jackson?
your last comment.
I'm going to tell you why Lamar Jackson can't get in. He only had 5 touchdowns. All these guys got 17 and 18 touchdown passes. You can't get in a club with that fit on. Just 5 touchdowns?
Jesus,
I'm
be
sorry.
fair.
That's who I had too. If we can throw that list back up there, I like the challenge, and I want to
Hey, you
insert
gonna hate
Lamar
from
Jackson.
outside the club. You can't get in.
Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have as many touchdowns as the other guys. Well, let me do this.
He's very far off.
Let me be positive first.
Josh over Lamar.
I think
is
you.
insane,
What I
though.
respect about your list, is that you have non-quarterbacks on this list. We know over the last, the history of this award, it's like a quarterback's award. So for you to have Tyreek at number 1 and then also A.J. Brown at 3, I appreciate, okay? And there's other non-quarterbacks that's deserving of being on the top 5. But this is good but not great because of what we're talking about, Lamar Jackson, Ashley. I feel that Lamar Jackson can easily be on this list over Josh Allen or even Patrick Mahomes because they're averaging 27
You had me until
points.
you brought Pat into it. You had me on your side until you brought
They're
Pat
winning,
into it.
and their offense is electric. No, he doesn't have 10, 15 touchdowns, but the dude is averaging, their offense is averaging 27, 28 points a game.
But what are you expecting your quarterback to do?
Win.
Throw touchdowns.
I also have a problem with this list because
Josh
it's
Allen
all-
has 17 to Lamar 5.
Why is your list all offense? Like Micah Parsons is having one hell of a year. How come he's not on the list?
Because they have a defensive.
No, we're not going to put him on the list
So,
because he's not even top 5 in sacks.
I went offense. I went for the NFL MVP. It's always just all offense. Because they got defensive player, however they want to announce it.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, Micah, he's balling. And a lot of times the numbers don't tell the story.
We'll finish this discussion. Let me just go ahead and end the show from an audio standpoint before Andrew yells at me, and we'll wrap this list up on our YouTube Live. Guys, if you are listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103, we thank you so much. And again, if you want to go ahead and see all the craziness that happens behind the scenes, make sure you head over to the I Am Athlete YouTube page. We will be back tomorrow. It's Thursday, so we'll be in our lovely Brand Star studio. We hope you join us. Bye.
Ciao.
All right, and we are back. Go ahead.
No, Michael Parsons, I was just there. Michael Parsons, he's not there. He's having a hell of a year.
But don't they have a defensive MVP? So they can't be NFL.
Do they?
I thought.
No, it's defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year. Like Chris Johnson was on. Chris Johnson, who had 2,000 yards, he didn't get MVP, but he got offensive player of the year. That's what he got. So that's what Micah could potentially be in position to get. But it's not always.
Also, for the Lamar thing, Brandon, I feel like I hear you. Josh Allen has more touchdowns, but he also throws the ball a lot more than Lamar. Lamar relies on his feet a lot. Lamar also relies on other types of schemes within the offense to go ahead and make things happen. If Josh Allen doesn't throw for 700 times a game, they don't even stand a chance.
But
he doesn't have that's all he can do. That's what he has to do.
He's madly accurate. He's leading the league in accuracy. He got 71% completion rate.
And
highest QBR. How do you have the highest QBR and not be on this list?
LT won MVP.
So a defensive player can
That was a long time ago.
Just
very
saying.
long time ago.
If anyone could do it, Micah can do it. That's all I'm saying. Just want to put that out
But
there.
y'all gonna take Josh Allen off when he leading in completion percentage and QBR, and you don't want him on there at number 5?
Josh Allen has 8 interceptions. I'm being petty here.
Everybody on this list. Mahomes got
Lamar Jackson got 3.
But he only got 5 touchdowns.
9 touchdowns.
No, passing touchdowns.
Okay. But why you got to put him in the box? Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, let's just say he has 9 touchdowns.
Right, that's Lamar.
It still ain't even.
Why is he getting knocked? Why is he getting knocked over Josh Allen? Because some of his touchdowns are rushing touchdowns and not passing touchdowns.
I love Lamar Jackson. But you can't just knock what Josh Allen doing.
5-3.
You're the one who
Baltimore's
said
at
that
6
the Bills
and 2.
were fraudulent. You said that you don't think the Bills are as good as everyone says that they are.
3 weeks ago.
You don't
I said that
trust
3
Josh
weeks
Allen
ago.
and the Bills. You said that.
I said
You
it 3
said that
weeks
on
ago.
this very
They
show.
5-3 now. He got them back on track. They 5-3. They low key can get a bye this year.
Listen, this is not a bad list. This is a really good list.
I think it's a great
but
list.
it's not great. It's not great. But the next couple of weeks will determine exactly how these things are going to shape out. I appreciate you, B, for putting this list together and including non-quarterbacks. Tyreek Hill, right? Because you could easily maybe say, well, we know A.J. Brown ain't going to win it. Let's throw him on the offensive category, offensive player of the year, put him over there, and we can insert Lamar Jackson. So I appreciate you going out on a limb and putting in Tyreek Hill, which I think a lot of people would do this right now, and then A.J. Brown. The biggest thing for me is, again, if Tyreek Hill eclipsed 2,000 yards, he should be MVP because it's never been done before. I don't care what any of those quarterbacks do. I don't care what Tua does. I don't care what Patrick Mahomes does. Like, we've never seen this before. And the likelihood of whatever Tua and Patrick and Josh and Lamar do, we've seen it before.
So your only thing is Lamar and Josh Allen, pretty much.
Yeah. And then to Ashley's point, I don't believe Micah should be in this discussion, top 5. Like, you got other names like TJ Watt, guys like that, right? So, like, I think we need to do a better job in the media.
And putting them in a...
And also, like, too, like, what offensive lineman should be up there? We don't even know how to watch film on offensive linemen. Like, I'm talking about guys that played the game as well. Like, you never hear us sitting up there saying, like, Trent Williams, he's been rated the best player in the NFL for the last 6 years. Why isn't he ever on this list, right? So... yeah, I think we can do a better job of putting more defensive guys up there and also offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Well, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, they get up there sometimes.
All right. Well, that is the list. We'll see.
List.
For now, we'll go ahead and see as it gets closer, deeper into the season, if any of those predictions, for those candidates become an actual winner. Time will tell. My money's on Tyreek Hill,
Flo knows.
Flo knows.
I like that, Brian. He said Flo knows. That's it. Flo knows.
Does he?
Until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Peace.